Hi and welcome to this beginner and advanced beginner quick ab segment. All you'll need is a mat and a optional hand towel as shown here. We're going to start out on our back, just getting comfortable on the mat, and you don't need your hand towel just yet. We're going to take the hands just outside of our low ribs, so on the left and right of your low ribs, and just gently resting your hands there. Taking big inhale breaths, I'm trying to expand my rib cage out to the right and left. My hands are really just there for the feedback. So inhale, my ribs expand big, really in 360 degrees, but I'm trying to feel them go left and right into my hands. And as I exhale, my ribs just simply return to their normal position. I inhale through my nose and I exhale out through my mouth like I'm blowing out a birthday candle. Next, I'm going to move my hands a little bit lower onto my belly so my fingers are just outside of my belly button. So my ribs are still going to expand on that inhale breath. The change here is on the exhale, I want to shrink my waist tiny. So I'm pulling my belly button down towards my spine, but also up a little bit, up towards my ribs. Not a super forced thing, but just gentle engagement. Another way I like to think of it is on that exhale breath, I'm just kind of cinching in an invisible corset. So really just kind of bracing through the waist. Next here, I'm going to do some pelvic curls. So we start in that neutral spine position. So if you think of your spine in its natural shape, it has some curves. Specifically, that lumbar curve is going to flatten out as I curl my tailbone up. Try an inhale in that neutral spine and then an exhale as you flatten that lumbar curve and curl the tailbone up. So just gently moving, not trying to force anything, just gently rocking the pelvis one direction and then the other. Now I move my hands behind my head so you can see the difference now. So you see how my back goes flat right here, and then I rock it back to normal and flat and normal. Again, not forcing anything, and then just trying to breathe, connect the breath. Maybe an exhale as the back goes flat, but honestly, just breathe. Next, I'm going to do some marches with my hands on the heel of the hand on the ASIS, fingers on the pubic bone. If you like, I'm making sure all three of those bones are level. That also tells me I'm in neutral. As I march, I don't want to rock my pelvis around. Next, I'm going to flatten my back. Hands are just on the ASIS, and I'm going to take both legs up into a tabletop for a tabletop tap. So I have a flat back or imprinted spine. I'm trying to hold my pelvis steady as I lower one leg, tap the toe to the floor, exhale, lift, inhale, lower, exhale, lift. So we're working on lumbopelvic stability, which is one of the movement principles of Pilates. Next, we're going to need that hand towel, so you'll want that handy under your head. I'm going to grab the edges of the towel, lift my hands up, and it's basically a hammock for my head. So I want my head completely heavy and relaxed in that towel, and then I crunch up, trying to leave my head heavy in the towel. So I'm not pulling my head forward. Very important detail there. I'm lifting the whole upper body up together as one unit while relaxing my head in the towel. Next, I'm going to do that same thing, but instead of supporting my head with a towel, I'm supporting it with my hands. My fingers are not laced. They're actually going to be wide just because I don't want to push my head forward. So again, just lifting that whole upper body up at the same time. Now I'm going to hold the upper body up, legs come to the tabletop, and I'm going to repeat tabletop taps up here. So if this gets to be a little too much for your upper body, you can always take your head down, and you can always do this with the towel. Holding the hips steady, And of course, remembering to breathe and resting. Get a full rest here. And next we're going to do our single leg stretch. So I'm in this ball position here. I'm going to push up into my hands with my lower legs to help lift my upper body up. One knee in, other leg goes to a 45. And then I trade knees and trade knees. So remember, I can do this with my upper body down, or I can do this with the towel. The hands are simply guiding the knee that's coming in. So outside hand by the ankle, inside hand by the knee. I'm trying to not really grab onto the leg. Inhale, ribs expand in 360 degrees like we practiced from the beginning. And exhale. Good. Relax down. You can shake your head side to side or rock your knees side to side. Next, we're going to go crisscross bicycle. So my hands come behind my head. Same motion with the legs. My upper body is twisting in the opposite direction. So note, I'm not aiming my elbow for my knee. I'm actually aiming the shoulder for the knee. So bigger twist. One whole shoulder blade comes off of the mat at a time. So again, if this is too much for your upper body, you can just keep your upper body rested down and just do the leg motion. And relax. Next, we'll do the double leg stretch. So again, I'm in this ball position to start, and I'm going to push up into my hands to help me lift up. I'm going to stretch the legs out to a 45-degree angle as I bring my arms up by my ears. Exhale, knees return to starting position while arms do a big circle around back to starting position. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Each time I'm kind of pushing up into my hands to keep my upper body in a nice lifted position. You don't have to do that. I just use it as a reset between each one, because notice I'm trying to get all of my shoulder blades off. That really does help train the abs to do this lifting of the upper body rather than straining through the neck and shoulders. But remember, your head can always stay down in these exercises. Next, we're going to take a little stretch break. So I'm going to start with my right leg, and I'm going to hug my right leg into my chest. And then my left leg is going to be bent on the mat. I'm going to hold under the right thigh, bend the right knee, flex the foot, and I'm going to push up through the heel to the ceiling a few times. And then I'm going to hold the leg straight, release the stretch with an inhale, exhale, pull the straight leg in towards the chest. After a few of those, I'm going to straighten the bottom leg and continue. Inhale, release that top leg a little. Exhale, pull the stretch. Hold the last stretch, and I'm going to point and flex my top foot. And then roll my ankle in one direction and then the other direction. I want about 4 and 4 at least on the ankle rolls. And then I'll trade sides. So starting with that bent leg, flexed foot, bottom knee is bent on the mat, bend and press. Exhale as I press through the heel to the ceiling like I'm squishing a bug on the ceiling with my heel. Press and hold that last one straight. Now I'm going to pull the straight leg into my chest with an exhale. Inhale, release a few inches. Exhale, pull the stretch. And just try to relax any tension from your shoulders. Now bottom leg is straight, and I continue with that same motion on the top leg. Exhale, pull the stretch. Inhale, release. I'm going to hold the last one, point and flex my top foot. And then I'm going to roll the ankles as big as I can in one direction for about 4. And then reverse. Big circles. And finishing up here, the next move we're going to do for our abs is going to be the single straight leg stretch. That's why we were kind of getting our hamstrings relaxed here. So we're going to press into our hands with those legs to lift the upper body. Take one leg to the ceiling, other leg out to a 45. Your hands can grab either the calf or the thigh as I'm doing right here now. I pull in 2. 1, exhale, switch. Inhale, 2. 1, exhale, switch. I'm keeping that nice upper body lift, but of course, if you need to rest your upper body down, absolutely do. And remember, you could also use the towel to hold the head up for this move. It will be harder on your abs when you're not holding onto the leg, but it would be easier for your upper body. And rest. You can shake your head side to side or take your knees side to side. We're going to finish with the single straight leg stretch next. I'm going to start with the easiest version to teach you. So we're actually going to slide our hands under our hips and take straight legs to the ceiling. I'm going to turn out with toes pointed. Inhale as you lower straight legs, only as low as you can with flat abdominal muscles. Exhale, I'm going to squeeze the heels together or squeeze the legs together to lift. So nicest position. My head is down, my hips are propped up. Next position, I'm going to use the towel to support my upper body lifted. Same thing. Inhale, lower. Exhale, squeeze the heels to lift. Inhale, lower. Only as low as you can go with flat abs. Exhale, lift. Remember, your head is heavy in the towel. Anytime we're using the towel, I'm not pulling my head up. Good. And then the final version, the hands are going to be behind the head, but I'm actually going to take one hand on my abs to monitor my abs. So as I lower, I'm just making sure I've got my hand there for feedback to make sure I'm only lowering as low as I can with flat abs. So the abs do poof up into your hand when they're reaching a point they can't support. Now I'll go ahead and bring that second hand behind my head. And this is the full classical version. Inhale, lower, exhale to lift. And relax. You did it. So I'm just going to rock my knees side to side here. And then I'm going to rest my feet down and arms open to a T with my palms lifted, feet at least hip distance or wider, and then I take my knees from one side to the other. I'm going to keep both shoulder blades down. I might look in the opposite direction from the side my knees are dropping to. And you did a fabulous job today. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day.